right, good morning, karibu sana to a Feel Good Friday right here, TV47 Breakfast. I know you had a holiday jana, whether or not you liked it, hiyo ni shida yako. Tia gasa kuku kuwa, and that's the biggest talking point today. The fact that the country was under paralysis, total lockdown, and that's a big headline on most of the pages. That one word, lockdown, okay, not one word, that phrase, lockdown, is on most of the front pages today, and we'll be looking at that and a lot more. Most of the dailies today just focused on police action yesterday. At least no one was killed, no life was lost. That's a plus. I don't know if we should be congratulating the police or not, because no life was lost, but at least we are not mourning anyone because of June 25th protests or demonstrations. We saw parents of those people who died back in 2024 on the same date. They were able to remember their children by laying flowers some distance from Parliament because they were barred from accessing Parliament Road. But at least that event went on smoothly. A bit of drama and a bit of chaos here and there as other protesters who wanted to continue with some activity in and around the CBD have been arrested and probably will be arraigned today. So many discussions around that, and we'll be looking at the dailies today. I don't think there's anything else, including the business daily. Just talking about the events that took place yesterday. My name is Freddy Ndimuli. Karibu sana to TV47 Breakfast. Remember that even as you interact with us, being a Feel Good Friday, today we'll be having the youth perspective, talking to young Kenyans, young political minds on what they saw, what they feel should have been the biggest discussion, and what they feel will matter going forward. We do this every Friday, and today we'll be doing the same. So on State of the Nation today, we'll be having Ken Babu, who's the Youth Chair, United Alternative Government, UAG, Mora John, who's a Nairobi Woman Representative aspirant, Jared Oye from the Odium Youth League, and Kamau Ambio, who's a NEC member of the Wiper Patriotic Front. Later, we'll be having another discussion on circular economy. How much do you know about it? And the future of sustainable manufacturing in Kenya. For that conversation, we'll be having Peter Ndisho, who's the manufacturing director at Hako Industries. Kama vile nimesema, it is a Feel Good Friday, so DJ Blue 254 will be in studio. So do expect some good music later on the show. Meanwhile, interact with us throughout this session on all our social media pages, on X at TV47 Digital, on Facebook, TV47 Kenya. It is TV47 Kenya on Instagram, and TV47 Kenya as well on YouTube, where we're streaming live and at TV47 Live. Everywhere you can use the hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Yetu. You can tag me as well. My handle on X is at Fred Indimuli, and it's Fred Indimuli across all the other social media pages. All right. So let's take a look at the weather situation. It's been a very cold week. Let's see if at all it's going to be any different today. All right, light rain expected in Meru today. 21 degrees the high, so it's a bit chilly in Meru. Currently it's 12 degrees. A bit warmer in Kisii, although we do expect scattered thunderstorms. Highs of 26 degrees, lows of 16. Kericho, light rain as well, just like in Meru. A bit warmer there in comparison to Meru. Highs of 23 degrees. Currently it is 14 degrees, the lowest. Let's take a look at elsewhere, closer to Nairobi. Kisumu, very warm today. It is a sunny day in Kisumu and around the Lake Basin, Lake Victoria Basin. Highs of 28 degrees in Kisumu. Currently it is 18 degrees, which is much warmer than most other places. Scattered thunderstorms to be reported in Karatina. 22 degrees, the highs, 14 degrees currently. And Nairobi, partly sunny, and it is, I think, the warmest day of this week. When we started the week off on Monday, it was 21 degrees, the highs. Today it is 24 degrees, currently 14 degrees. So a bit, let's say, comfortable weather in Nairobi today. That's the weather situation. All right, let's get some Friday inspiration with the quote of the day.
The most important thing is to enjoy your life, to be happy. It's all that matters.
Tuangazie magazeti ya humu nchini kwanza. Habari ni ile ile, Nairobi yafungwa, ndio habari kuu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Taifa Leo. Na picha moja hapo nzuri sana, barabara ya Uhuru Highway, magari ni ya polisi pekee, magari 5 yakizuia magari mengine kupita. Jiji la Nairobi jana lilitengwa na maeneo mengine ya nchi baada ya polisi kuweka vizuizi katika barabara zote kuu zinazoingia jijini, hali iliyosababisha msongamano mkubwa wa magari na kutatiza shughuli za usafiri, huku Wakenya wakiadhimisha miaka 2 tangu maandamano ya Gen Z ya Juni 25 mwaka 2024. Habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa pili. Picha zaidi kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti hili. Polisi waweka vizuizi katika barabara kuu za kuingia jijini na kutatiza shughuli za kawaida, maduka yakifungwa. Pale kuna kizuizi cha polisi pale Kangemi. Polisi warushia waandamanaji vitoza machozi. Kwingineko polisi wafunga barabara ya Ruiru bypass. Kwingine polisi watumia sengenge karibu na bunge, na vijana wacheza soka Thika Road jana. Barabara ilikuwa bure bila magari na vijana wakaamua ni sawa kucheza mipira pale. Kando na hayo, nyumba iliyoficha siri za Mackenzie, makazi yake ya vyumba 3 vya kulala yaliyojengwa kwa kuta za udongo na simiti na kuwekewa paa ya makuti bado iko imara. Mackenzie ni yule jamaa wa Shakahola ambaye bado yuko korokoroni. Kwingineko, tetemeko la ua watu 100 Venezuela waliangamia kufuatia mitetemeko 2 ya ardhi mchana. Hizo ndizo habari zilizopewa kipaumbele kwenye gazeti la Taifa Leo hii leo, lakini tukiangazia kurasa za ndani gazeti hili. Polisi wafunga jiji. Kuna picha hapo ya afisa wa polisi akimkimbiza mwandamanaji ambaye amevaa suti na tai katika kituo cha mabasi cha Kencom jijini. Kwingineko, Kisumu ya kwepa maandamano, vijana wakijisajili kupiga kura. Kisumu walisema hawaelewi maandamano ya kazi gani. Ruto akagua mradi wa ujenzi katika Bomas, jiji likifungwa. Na kwingineko, vinara wa upinzani wajitokeza kwa maadhimisho ya Gen Z. Habari nyingi tu ni kuhusia ukumbusho wa Juni 25 mwaka 2024. Na picha ni nyingi tu kwenye ukurasa wa 5 wa yaliyotokea jana. Habari nyingi zikielekea kulenga masuala yale. Fidia, manusura walalamika kutengwa. Rais Ruto alisema serikali yake imetenga bilioni 2 kwa fidia, hiyo akisema ni hatua muhimu ya kutambua maumivu ya waathiriwa na familia zao. Lakini wengi manusura wanasema hawako kwenye orodha ya wale ambao watapokea fidia. Kule nyuma kwenye gazeti la Taifa Leo ni masuala ya kombe la dunia mwaka 2026. Nasema Afrika Kusini, Brazil, Morocco ndani ya wale 32. Naelezewa hata Cote d'Ivoire pia ilifuzu kufika katika wale 32 wa mwisho. Inaitwaje kwa Kiingereza? Round of 32. Asante sana. Kiingereza nilikuwa nimekisahau. Gazeti la Taifa Leo, habari ni ile ile. Tuangazie gazeti la Daily Nation. Lockdown, and I told you that this phrase lockdown is what is used on most of the papers today. Lockdown, the Daily Nation. Total lockdown on the Star. So those two, lockdown. So on the Daily Nation, and we have that razor wire that barricaded the precincts of Parliament with heavy police presence. Many of those who took part in the procession in remembrance of the victims of police brutality were hoping to go at least to the Parliament's gate to lay their flowers and wreaths in remembrance of their family who perished back in 2024. They were, however, not allowed, and they had to leave the flowers. Actually, they hung the flowers on this razor wire. So, second anniversary, families of 2024 Gen Z protest victims lay wreaths outside Parliament. Police mounted roadblocks on highways leading to Nairobi city centre and barricaded Parliament with razor wire, citing intelligence reports that goons planned to cause chaos during the second anniversary of the bloody 2024 anti-tax uprising. Meanwhile, there was a court order. The barricades outraged Kenyans whose daily activities were disrupted amid protests that authorities had defied a court order barring police from erecting cordons to restrict access to the city center without prior public notice. Yes, even those who were just hoping to go to offices and open their shops, they could not do that because most of the roads had been barricaded by police, and many were diverted back to home. At least 355 people were arrested, with pockets of skirmishes reported in some areas, including Githurai, where anti-riot police lobbed tear gas canisters to disperse rowdy mobs attempting to block the Thika superhighway. Elsewhere, victims of police brutality and activists pressed for action against killer officers, arguing that state compensation for atrocities without accountability would entrench the culture of impunity that led to the killing of at least 50 people 2 years ago. Most parts of the country, meanwhile, remained relatively peaceful, including regions that have in the past been hotspots of violence like Kisumu. But tension was palpable amid a heavy police presence, shuttered businesses, and paralyzed public transport. So that's just a breakdown of what happened, but the stories are so many, more stories and pictures inside the Daily Nation today. So from page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 10 and 12. At least how many pages are those? Those are about 10 pages of coverage for this news. So you talk about the lockdown on page 2 and 3, more pictures, a lot pictorials on pages 4 and 5, including a very nice one of opposition leaders, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, and former CJ David Maraga, carrying wreaths as they went to pay their respects outside Parliament. Barricaded roads revive questions of legality. Yes, and many people say or complain that they were denied access to the city where they go and they have their businesses stationed or their offices. They were ready to go and work. Why did the police decide, no, you cannot work today? Was it a holiday? Well, police revealed strategy behind successful security operation. According to police, that day was very successful for them. Good thing is, and probably we should laud police, that at least no life was lost yesterday. Justice out of reach for families of June 25 victims 2 years on. Families reject compensation payouts, bemoaning lack of accountability by the government. Meanwhile, it was a trap why Gachagua kept off anniversary demos, heavy police presence in major towns. And that's the Daily Nation. And I don't think there's any other story today on the papers apart from what happened yesterday. Backpage, meanwhile, is only left for the World Cup. So quite a number of stories here. Ex-Harambee Stars coach Minier wants to keep his job with Haiti. The Frenchman says he wants to stay on despite the Caribbean nation's early exit after 3 losses. They lost yesterday as well in their game. I'll be telling you more about that. Meanwhile, today, the games to look forward to: Senegal versus Iraq at 10 p.m. Norway facing France at 10 p.m. as well. On Saturday, Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia, 3 a.m. That's a very early morning. But since it will be a Saturday, probably this is one of the games that you could catch Cape Verde and give them support. Group G, Egypt versus Iran at 6 a.m. tomorrow as well. So that's a Daily Nation. And I've just been reminded that I did not give you an update on the World Cup, and I think this is as good a time as any. All right. Okay, so yes, 51 minutes, this game between the US and Turkey still on. It's a 2-2 draw so far. Paraguay, Australia is also live just past halftime, and it's still a barren draw. Meanwhile, Japan held Sweden to an 1-1 draw. Tunisia lost to Netherlands. Tunisia, former African champions, lost to the Netherlands 3-1. Ecuador versus Germany. Germany lost to Ecuador 2-1. So for those who are supporting Germany. And Cote d'Ivoire beat Curacao. Is it Curacao or Curacao? One of the two. That one. 2-0. So yes, the results are out, and more matches later today. That's as far as the World Cup is concerned, and the Daily Nation as well. Let's take a look at the Standard that goes with the same headline, Total Lockdown. And the Standard, just like they did yesterday, have dedicated both the front page and the back page to news around the memorial or remembrance of victims of the Gen Z protest of 2024. So on the front page, under the headline, Total Lockdown, the spectacle that played out yesterday during the second anniversary of Gen Z's fatal protest of 2024 portrayed a government scared of its own people, despite government officials led by Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen promising a normal working day on the eve of the commemoration. The nation woke up to blockades in all roads leading to the capital city and major towns. The police, as has been the case, became a tool of suppression instead of providing security. They sealed roads, harassed and brutalized innocent Kenyans whose crime was to mark the day that Kenyans said enough was enough to a government that is tone deaf. That's a Standard. Hii gazeti imekasirisha rais sana. And yesterday, the president tweeted twice about the same paper. Inside this paper, coverage on the same page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the back page. So 9 or 10 pages of this. So the picture they've used on the front page is of one of the parents of one of the victims who perished in 2024, laying her wreath at that razor wire that barricaded Parliament. On the back page, it is just photos and more photos of protesters and demonstrators, some even clashing with police, tear gas on one hand, and just a montage or collage of very many photos there. They also have quotes of different people, including the CS for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Gilbert Masengeli, former CJ David Maraga, Jacinta Anyango, who's a mother to Rex Masai, who died. No, sorry for that. Jacinta Anyango is mother to Kennedy, who was only 12, and Gillian Munyoki, who's a mother to Rex Masai. Eugene Wamalo also quoted at the back page of this paper. So let's take a look at some of the headlines that they used. An easy calm, shut shops across counties as nation mourns protest victims. That's on page 2 of the Standard. More photos of what transpired yesterday, including PSV buses in a parking yard in Kitengela town, because matatus, despite the fact that they had promised to continue their operations, they were not allowed to do so by police. Even long-distance buses. There's a picture there of police officers barricading Wayakiwe, leading to Nairobi CBD, and quite a number of long-distance buses there, unable to ferry their passengers to the CBD. Most of them were forced to disembark in areas like Westlands or Kangemi and find their alternative means to get to town. Murkomen's normal day meets Nairobi's roadblocks. Yes, we had been promised it would be a normal day, but was it? Split opposition as some leaders keep off street. Then an interesting headline on page 6, leaders dancing on Gen Z graves with an eye on 2027 and beyond. And they've used pictures of those who are called experts from ODM, who are donated to the government and are now members of the cabinet. Armed officers escort marchers along the streets. This happened not just in Nairobi, but in Mombasa as well. And the Ritz barriers mark protest anniversary. This paper, yes, talks about its own feud with the president on page 9. Ruto attacks on Standard star more backlash. It is about 2 tweets that the president tweeted about this particular media house, and it has been widely reported and widely debated as well on social media. 355 people arrested. We talked about that. Another headline I love, the house that fell now hides behind razor wire, talking about the Houses of Parliament. All right. There's away from matters demonstrations, there are 2 people who have earned 6 million shillings to watch all 104 football matches at the World Cup. Where? That's on page 10 of this paper. Interesting. And then Parliament summons CS Wahome as housing projects stall nationwide. Wow. So Parliament has directed Lands and Housing Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome to appear for a Speaker's Kamukunji next Thursday to respond to questions on stalled projects across the country, including the affordable housing program a flagship undertaken by the Kenya Kwanza administration. Really? Are they saying that it has stalled? Interesting. That's the only thing I can say. Very interesting. On the back pages, sports pages rather, page 38 and 39 matters World Cup. Actually, the entire sports section is reserved for the World Cup. The return of Brazil's forgotten hero Neymar. History makers deliver good news to expectant fans. Kuna wale ambao wanatarajia kupata watoto hivi karibuni, lakini pia walikuwa kule watch the World Cup. Expected fixtures: Norway versus France, we've talked about it. Senegal versus Iraq. Those are big games to anticipate. Yes, and the Lions of Teranga hope to keep roaring as they face Iraq today. That's Senegal. And that's the Standard. They call it the bold newspaper. All right. Other headlines that still talk about the events of yesterday. We start with the Star. Gen Z, roadblocks, arrests, and tears. And there are very dramatic photos. There are very dramatic photo of the protesters wrestling with police officers. But on the other side, we have a very calm-looking President William Ruto inspecting construction of Boma's International Convention Complex in Nairobi yesterday. So security checkpoints on key highways, razor wire rolled out around Parliament. It's the same thing that we've seen across most of the papers today. On the inside pages, a lot of news from Radio Africa. They were bidding farewell to their chairman, Kiprono Kitoni, after 27 years. And a lot of more photos from what happened yesterday on page 8 and 9. And yes, that's it. Back page matters World Cup Gakpo conundrum. That's the main headline on the front page, on the back page of the Star. All right, let's take a look at the People Daily. Still talking about the same issue. Paralysis, city blockaded. Police bring business in Nairobi to a standstill in day of protests. Yes, and a picture there, as we've seen on the front page of the Star. Another picture on the front page of the People Daily of protesters being arrested as police try to put them in that lorry. Yes, tens detained nationwide. Major roads closed. Economic activity hit. Services disrupted widely. 2 years of youth resistance. That's the front page of the People Daily. Away from... okay, it's still the same story. Families, leaders lay wreaths on razor wire after Parliament snub. Waliogopa tu watu wasikaribie kabisa bunge. The economic fallout, who pays the price? And Nyanza shuns Gen Z marches as Kisumu city remains quiet. So yes, many may have expected that there would be something in Kisumu, but they did not do anything. All right, that's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. You can grab yourself a copy of the Star for 60 bob. And the People Daily, you can access it online. Let's take a look at the Business Daily. They've used the same photo that has been used on the front page of Taifa Leo. I think this is part of, University Way. Police vehicles used to block University Way in Nairobi during demonstrations staged yesterday to commemorate the second anniversary of the 2024 Gen Z protests. That's a photo they've used under the headline, Businesses Take Hit as Police Blockades Shut Down Nairobi. So have police finally found a remedy or a solution to the riots that are usually witnessed in Nairobi when people are not happy? Just shut down the roads leading to the city center, funga, patia watu holiday na kila mtu ako sawa. Is that the solution? Right. Away from matters protests on the Tika, Italian Carrara marble, Buffalo sculpture for Raila Mausoleum. Royco disputes tests multinationals' tax rules. And banks raise NSE wealth share to record 42.5% on bull run. That's the Business Daily. So those are the local dailies in Kenya, all of them talking about the events of yesterday. As we marked the second anniversary of the Gen Z protests of 2024, the only good thing that came out of it yesterday was the fact that no life was lost. Tuvuke border sasa, and we start off with the papers in Uganda. Unfortunately, we only have one, the Daily Monitor. The New Vision, we are yet to access it. The main headline on the front page of the Daily Monitor, Chambogo graduates clash over fake course. That's a section of Chambogo University graduates has locked horns with the institution, accusing it of teaching an obsolete course. 6 years ago, that has since left them stranded in the job market. But the university insists the group was aware of the status of the program. Hiyo ni ngumu, poleni sana. Can you imagine doing a degree program and then you realize a few years later that it is obsolete and your degree certificate cannot count? That's a Daily Monitor. We cross over to Tanzania. We start off with the Citizen. This whole week they've been talking about matters budget and government expenditure, and the main headline on the front page of the Citizen, government urged to reduce spending on state vehicles. Have you seen one of those videos online depicting or showing President Samia Suluhu Hassan's entourage, especially during campaigns or when she's just moving around? And I thought President William Ruto's entourage or convoy was larger. No. So according to the Speaker, efforts should contain expenditure on vehicles, should not be treated as a temporary cost-cutting exercise, but as part of a broader commitment to improving efficiency across government operations. And they have a picture there of a V8 Gazla. Yeah. Ni habari ni ile ile kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Mwananchi. Tunakwama wapi? Ni swali wanauliza. Gharama magari ya serikali. Gharama za ununuzi, matunzo ya magari ya kifahari serikalini zaendelea kung'ata. Spika Zungu afukua mafaili kamati ya Chenge. Bunge sasa kula sahani moja na serikali. Wadau wanachambua. Na magari yale, picha zile zile ya magari ya kifahari yanayotumika kule Tanzania. Na anasema ati shilingi trilioni 1.8 pesa za Tanzania ndio kiasi cha fedha ambacho Spika Zungu amesema kilitumika kuhudumia magari ya serikali kwa kipindi cha mwaka wa fedha 2008-2009. Kushughulikia, sio kununua, servicing vehicles. Alright, so those are the dailies in the region, both in Tanzania and Uganda. No reports of what happened in Kenya. Wale washa move on. Shida ni zenu, zishughulikieni. Alright, let's come back and take a look at the cartoons this morning. And we start off with a cartoon on the Standard. So a caricature of President William Ruto walking away from public outcry, the fire of public outcry, and he's using his wheelbarrow and carrying taxes on the 2026 finance bill. He's saying it's for the better good. Yeah? It is for the better good. Yeah, whatever he's saying, it is Hari today. The cartoon on the Daily Nation has a caricature of the police bosses, Douglas Kanja, the IG, and Gilbert Masengeli, his deputy, standing next to Parliament, but they're already barricaded by those zinaitwaje hizi machuma ile polisi wanatumia kufungia barabara, spikes. They used spikes, but they used razor wire to barricade Parliament yesterday. So according to this cartoon, they are hiding behind the barricades. The cartoon on the People Daily this morning, it has, I think, politicians on one side facing the ballot box with their voters on the other side. The politicians are begging, of course. Tumefika ile wakati wa kubeg, lakini wanaambiwa, why should I hire you while I have what it takes to lead? The young people are asking these old politicians, why should we hire you? We can do this ourselves. That's the cartoon on the People Daily. Finally, the cartoon on the Star, and I'm beginning to get a feeling that this cartoonist on the Star has something against the Siaya governor, James Orengo. He has consistently caricatured this gentleman this entire week. So now the caricature here is the governor for Siaya, James Orengo, sitting on the shoulders of Gen Z as the Gen Z is riding a motorbike. But they are going towards, riding towards barrels of guns. So is he suggesting that the governor for Siaya is taking Gen Z towards their death? Remember that Orengo was part of the organizers of the commemoration yesterday, and yes, he was on the street, but at some point he had to take off with his aides helping him to get onto a motorbike to safety. So those are the cartoons in the local dailies. A lot of talk about what happened yesterday in the protests. We'll be looking at this and the main stories, of course, coming from yesterday's events with my panelists. Once again, let me show you who will be in studio. Ken Babu, who's a youth chairperson, United Alternative Government, UAG. Mora John, who's a Nairobi woman, an aspirant for the seat of Nairobi woman rep, Jared Oye from the ODM Youth League, and Kamau Ambio, who's a NEC member, Wiper Patriotic Front. These are young Kenyan political minds as we do the youth perspective. Gen Z protests, voices that will not fade. That's the main discussion after the break. Once again, later on, we'll be discussing matters circular economy with Peter Ndisho from Hako Industries, and DJ Blue will be in studio, DJ Blue 254 for Feel Good Friday. So a lot to look forward to later on. Interact with us through all our social media pages. TV47 Digital is actually our Twitter handle. It is TV47 TV47 Kenya on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube, where we're streaming live. And of course, you can use hashtag TV47 Breakfast, hashtag Story Yetu, and tag me live on X at Freddy Ndimuli. Let's take a look at the traffic situation before we take a break on major highways in and around the city. Yesterday, all the roads were looking green across the city. Today, a bit of kama ukuwa mwerevu ukachukua leo off, ukuwe na long weekend ya 4 days, pole kwako. Wale werevu walishafanya hivyo. Anyway, the Eastern Bypass, it's building up. Areas around Utawala, pale Vimo kwa Chief imeanzia hapo. Crosses all the way to Astral Petrol Station, still in Utawala. It eases off a bit, then starts building up again at the KQ junction, the KQ headquarters roundabout. And further down that road, the Eastern Bypass, all the way to Cabanas, it's building up, but nothing to worry about. Outer Ring Road, not so bad this morning. Even further Antasia are looking good. Jogoo Road, just at Makadara, that stretch to Mbotela, nothing out of the ordinary. There's a bit of traffic as you get towards town, especially coming from Machakos bus station. Apo Mudhurwa, a bit of traffic as you get to the Landis Road roundabout, and up Marikiti all the way to the railways roundabout as well. But nothing to worry about. Isile mbaya sana, something you can survive. The other major trouble spot usually along Thika Road is Pale Pangani Interchange. It's building up slowly. Already it's backed up to Utalii Hotel. Further north of Thika Road, we can see a bit of traffic at around Mountain Mall. And then all the way Hadi Githurai, there's some traffic there just before you get to Kasarani. Otherwise, not so bad. Mombasa Road, smooth all the way to the CBD and the opposite side of town where we have Wayakiwe. Nothing to report from there. Ngong Road, according to this map, it's like they've closed a section of that junction interchange. I do not know if it's the overpass, but no clear indication of how the traffic is. Prestige Plaza, a bit of traffic there at that cross junction, and at the City Mortuary roundabout as well. Yeah, so that's the traffic situation today, not so bad. I think if you're still willing to get to town, everything is back to normal. So no excuse, go back to work. Enda ufungue shop na urudi kwa ofisi. Weekend ni kesho. All right. With that traffic update, let's take a break. See you later.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning.
You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako. Hamna pesa.
I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Ikikunyuma.
Oh my God. You left me.
Nitumie ni live. Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair.
It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system. Ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happens if something you haven't chosen enters your day?
I remove it.
That's not always going to be possible here.
Then you are going to have a problem.
Noted.
What are you planning? To escape from a resort?
This is not a resort, my friend. This is a storage.
Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47.
I just want to be in the zone.
Nairobi, where the hustle never sleeps and neither do the scammers.
Link Up, we are talking about something that's affecting all of us. We are talking trust.
We're diving into the campus life.
I just want to be in the zone.
Stay fresh, stay safe,
Stay linked up.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Ooh, yeah. We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in Eastern Central Africa and its environs.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
On a day when thousands of young people were expected to take to the streets to mark the second anniversary of the Gen Z protest killings of 2024 and 2025, Thursday's demonstrations unfolded differently. Unlike previous protests, many young people stayed away, leaving opposition leaders, human rights activists and families of victims of police brutality at the forefront of the commemorations.
We are here until 6. Tuko na haki.
Our demand is that these killer cops be arrested, because every time there is a protest, you will definitely get fatalities.
We expect security and peaceful demonstrations today. Anything happening otherwise, state-sponsored goonism, and we are telling the IG of police, we shall hold you and the officers responsible.
In a symbolic tribute to those who lost their lives during the 2024 protests, the leaders and families marched to Parliament buildings under heavy security for a wreath-laying ceremony. The event also provided a platform for grieving families to renew the calls for justice.
Nataka kuona serikali aliyeua mtoto wangu. Angalau nitamsamehe. naomba serikali uko na mkono. Ingekuwa ni mtoto wangu ameandika kitu mbaya kukuhusu, ungesaa mchukua na angesaa tia sheria. Lakini ni yale wawa, na mimi ni mtu wa chini na sina cha kufanya, niko tu na siku ya kumkumbuka kama leo.
So my son was killed today outside parliament. I came to honor my son. So nataka kuambia government, leo last time walitukataza. Leo nataka tuende tuweke maua pamoja na viongozi wetu.
Polisi wote wenye waliua watoto, polisi wa uaji, mimi ningeomba wachukuliwe hatua. Ndio next time wasiendelee kuua, sababu since 2024 mpaka leo tuko 2026 kila mano wanaua. Sisi tunaomba tu justice, justice, justice.
Killer cops, kama message yangu venye nasema, compensation cannot replace accountability. Arrest the killer cops. That's the message to the government.
According to members of Gen Z, the heavy police deployment discouraged many young people from participating in the planned demonstrations.
Nadhani kwa sababu ya kukuwa intimidated na serikali ndio maana vijana wengi wajaweza kutokea siku ya leo. Lakini mimi kama Gen Z nimechukua jukumu kutokea ili malalamishi yangu kama kijana yaweze kusikika kwa serikali kuu.
Thursday's turnout stood in sharp contrast to the first anniversary commemorations in 2025, when thousands of young people flooded the streets in cities and towns across the country. Stanley Nyeringita, TV47.
Total lockdown. That's how most dailies have described what happened yesterday during the remembrance of the victims of the Gen Z protests of 2024. Are concerned. This is how the dailies are describing the events yesterday. And that is the biggest conversation, of course, today. Total lockdown. Did police manage to put out that fire? Gen Z protest, voices that won't fade. So this morning, we have with us Kamau Wambio, who's a NEC member, Wiper Patriotic Front. Karibu sana, Kamau. It's good to have you in studio.
Thank you, thank you.
We're also privileged to have Jared Oye from the ODM Youth League. We are hoping some other people will be able to join us as we go along in discussing this issue. Jared, karibu sana.
Thank you.
So, Kamau, would you describe yesterday as a success, given the fact that, okay, fine, we did not see as much confrontation between police and anyone else? A bit of scuffle here and there, but nothing like we've witnessed in the past 2 years. Would you describe yesterday as successful in any way?
Well, Fred, thank you. And yesterday to me was, it is not about the success of the tear gas. It's not about the success of how many people, you know, the tussle between the public and the police. To me, it was a success. And everyone was able, yesterday was about commemorating these people. I was there 2024 and I was in that parliament then, and the pictures then, they were not something that you would want to live with that picture. So having a day to commemorate these people, just like we have a day to commemorate the Mau Mau, we have a day to commemorate our independence. That yesterday was a day of commemoration for the young people who fought for the economic independence of this country, for the young people who sent a message that we need to change. We need a shift of change with this governance, with how the leadership handles business. So to me, yesterday, even the people who stayed at home, the people who, you know, who stayed away, and even the young people who just stayed away. You lay a flower wherever you are. You just say the word, you know, for those souls. Whoever. Yesterday, myself, I was Erickson Kialo, and we remembered those people. So for me, it is not about the success of the tussle. Actually, to me, that was, I wish business went on as usual, as the government said, and even those people who are walking and marching to place flowers there. you just let them go, lay flowers, walk around, mourn their loved ones, and then go back home.
All right.
So to me yesterday, the strike and the maandamano was ilikuwa ya polisi. Police are the ones who are doing the demonstration yesterday. We saw the Minister for Interior says that it will be business as usual, but we saw it was not as usual. There were barricades everywhere. Town was a no-go zone. And so it was just a day to commemorate these halls. To me, it's not about the success of the tussle, the amount of tear gas that was lobbed.
Yet police could view it as successful, given the fact that they managed to secure the city and that there were no violent protests at all. Other people could see it as successful, or the families of the victims of the fight who managed to lay their wreaths outside Parliament. I do not know if other groups could consider it a success. We see like people who may have showed up but did not. But definitely in your perspective, Wanoye, do you see it as having been a successful day in any way?
Thank you very much, Fred. First, good morning to our viewers this morning. I find it, first I think in the history of our nation, for the first time that we had a peaceful march where we never had any casualty or loss of life, though there were arrests. And I think this was made out of maybe informed attacks or informed confrontation from the wananchi and the police. I may not view it as a success, but this discussion brings along many questions as well. As he puts it, we have been commemorating the Mau Mau, we have been commemorating those who led the multipartism, but in designated areas, why do we need to commemorate Gen Zs on the streets again? Why do we need to commemorate them shutting down our daily businesses? Can we have a designated area? Can we go to Uhuru Park? Can we be able to maybe go to Nyayo or Kasarani to commemorate these young people who lost their lives on the hands of the rogue police officers? Number two, on the same, is the infiltration that we had yesterday as well. It's not necessarily maybe the goons used to infiltrate maybe the peaceful protests before. But when we talk about the Gen Z, I think it was young people who were to have come out to do this. But we saw the hands of politicians, including his party leader, who stepped in. They are trying to ride on that euphoria of the young people. And this makes this thing to lose its meaning and its purpose at some point. When the seasoned politicians, the Eugene Wamalwa, the Kalonzo Musyoka, the Martha Karua, steps into such commemorations, it gives us another different meaning and maybe purpose that maybe the young people were trying to put forward to commemorate their colleagues. And to me, that again makes it much different. It becomes very political because they're also riding. If you now hear the slogans and the shoutings, yesterday it was about the Ruto must go and so on and so forth. But I think this was to commemorate the young people of their lives then. Again, we must also agree that it comes along with the economic sabotage. Yesterday, we lost a big chunk, at some point maybe our revenue collection, which to me was so unnecessary. If we could have had a proper plan and maybe a space, let those who don't want to get themselves involved into the commemoration run their daily business. And those who are feeling that we need to commemorate our comrades, go do it in a designated space.
In that aspect, that no business was allowed to operate in the city center, do you feel that the police should see this as a success, or do you see this as failure, causing paralysis in the CBD?
Fred, to me, on the side of police, I think we never had any business vandalized yesterday. We never saw maybe those shops being stolen. We never saw lives being lost. So at some point, I think our police yesterday acted out of caution and they managed the situation. Because in most cases, we have always seen hired individuals and goons and those who are having ulterior motives getting into peaceful protests or peaceful marches, and they hijack it in most most cases. But that didn't happen anywhere yesterday across the country, which to me, I think, I applaud our police service on this. I think at some point we may talk about barricades, yes, but it saved a number of things as well.
Do you feel that this is the way to go? Or anytime there's a threat of demonstrations in Nairobi, just barricade, shut down the entire place. Do you feel that that is a good way of handling this?
Before I come to that, I had my friend Jared trying to call out some names of people who tried to go and exercise their rightful their duty. And I want to tell Jared, my friend, before these leaders you're calling out their names, before their name, before they were their parents, before they were Jared, they are Kenyans. And it's very shameful for a young person to come here and try to and lecture people trying to, because trying to take sides because it is sabotage. There are some people coming in and they are trying to take over the show. My friend Jared, these Kenyans, these leaders are Kenyans. These leaders were touched by what happened to some of these people. Some of these people that were killed, some of them are families to these leaders, my brother. So it is not about which political divide, it is not about where you belong. It is about the life of young Kenyans who are lost. When we are commemorating Mashujaa Day, Madaraka Day, we don't talk we don't say it was Tomboya who was killed and it is the United Opposition will not go or the government is riding on it. It is not about sideshows, Jared. And sometimes I want to young leaders that are coming to take note and heed of what really we are getting ourselves into. When we are trying to save a nation, Jared, we are not supposed to call out some names. There are sometimes, yes, you can call out, but yesterday we are respecting human life, my brother. It is about respecting human life. Okay. One that was lost on on ways that are uncalled for. Okay. My friend, the day it will be you on that side.
My brother, it
will be. No, I'm just telling you, it's not about lecturing you. It is bad to call out names, and you had your time. I kept quiet, Jared. So
no, you are responding to me.
You will respond when you get your time. You will respond when you get your time.
It's not too early in this conversation.
So I am just telling
Jared, I'll give you an opportunity.
Exactly. So,
but I think your point is made.
Good.
Now to my question: do you feel that this was a success? Probably the fact that police managed to shut down. And should this be the way going forward, that whenever there's a threat of any demonstration or protest in Nairobi, simply shut the city down?
No. Whenever there is threats to shut, to bring down businesses, to steal from people, whenever there are threats from goons, let the police do their work. But whenever let the police do their work, let the people come and do their picketing, let the people do their peaceful demonstrations, let them walk, let them go and lay flowers. And that's it.
But then what happens in instances where you have protests on consecutive days, maybe for a whole week, Monday to Friday, like we saw, I think, a few years back? Then what happens? Would it work if at all the police were to shut down the city for that long?
It is not everyone who is picketing, and that's what I'm saying. The work of the police as mandated by the Constitution, it is to take care and protect protesters and to protect the business and the people who are doing business. Not everyone is on the streets doing doing demonstrations. People are in their businesses, transacting with their businesses. So whoever is on the streets, let the police focus on them. Let them walk and ensure that these people are walking on the on the designated routes, so that also the routine business that is happening within the CBD is not tampered with. So whoever called on barricades yesterday, I don't know on what basis. I heard Kanja says that they were working on intelligence that they received. I wonder what kind of intelligence they received, that they had to barricade the whole of the city. And it is as far from Rironi in Limuru, cars were being told to overturn. So it is far, and Rironi is around, 27 kilometers from CBD. Going all the way to Kimbo-Roiro, going all the way to Mombasa Road. People were being blocked from entering the city. For what? What is the panic about? People who are coming on their own vehicles, those are people who are trying to run about with their businesses. Okay. People who are going to commemorate the people in town, let them come.
So you do not agree with the kind of police action?
I don't agree with the kind of, that is cowardice. Okay. Yes, and even the arrest, we saw even people, tuliona hata Kiwete, someone who is disabled, being roughed up. Okay. Someone who is only streaming, being roughed up. Yesterday I was at Central Police. Over 355 people are arrested for nothing. Just walking, they had nothing.
Jared, I know you're itching to respond, but even as you respond, what is your perception of the kind of police action taken? Should that be the way? Barricading the entire city off, cordoning off Parliament, paralyzing the entire economy?
Fred, I think going with what maybe Kanja quoted yesterday was that they were trying to screen individuals who are coming to town. And I think this being based on the previous historical events that have happened before. We have seen goons and those, as I was putting, those who have ulterior motives, who are coming into town to loot, steal and burn, and even in most cases throw stones to the police. If it was made to screen individuals who are coming to town peacefully, then I think there was no problem on that. And I think this also comes along with the reforms that we have been pushing for the longest time in the country on the police reforms. For the first time, I'll applaud them because we didn't see that brutality for the first time, for me. Because I think from the part I'm coming from, we have always suffered roughly on the hands of the police. Anytime that we are on the street and maybe on mass action, we have always been walking back home with injuries. There are those who have been going back home disabled, and those who have been remaining on the street lifeless. So for the first time for me, that's a milestone. We need to look into the bigger picture. Again, I think the businesses were protected. There's nobody today, this morning, saying that their stock is gone. And again, there are designated areas, as he puts it, highly protected areas. Why do you go to protest around Parliament? Why must we go around the protected areas? These are the questions.
Probably it's because most of those victims who perished in 2024 lost their lives around the Parliament.
Exactly. Today, as Kama was putting it, we commemorate the Mau Mau fighters. We no longer go to Aberdare Rangers. We no longer go to the Mau Forest. We no longer go to the forest where they were struggling. We can have designated areas to commemorate our fallen comrades, but not marching to the Parliament. Again, I'm pretty sure. Yesterday was Thursday. What if the Parliament was not on recess? They were on
session.
On session. So the country need to move forward. We can't just say that now that there are those, like a good example in Ojwang's case, that is still very emotive to all of us. We will not say that we are going to commemorate our dear comrade brother who lost his life in the hands of police at Central Police Station will cause chaos unnecessarily. Because again, we also maybe have other inmates who are being held in that space. So we just need to also handle these issues with a lot of civic around.
So you applaud the police for shutting down the city. But the question is it sustainable that every time there's a protest, they shut down the city? Or if the protests occur in consecutive days, they shut down the city completely for probably even a week?
Fred, why would we walk all the way from Kitengela? Why can't you commemorate maybe comrades who lost their lives in Kitengela? If you have comrades who lost their lives in Thika, why can't you commemorate them in Thika? Why must we all come to the city unnecessarily? It's not making sense to me at all. That is one. Number two, I think something that if we can sustain it to avoid loss or destruction of the properties and loss of lives unnecessarily, I think to me it is much better.
Yet the promise by the CS for Interior was that it was going to be a normal working day. Kipchumba Murkomen had promised that this would be a normal working day. Everyone should come to town, continue their businesses, go to the offices. But now with this barricading, how does it work? And is it sustainable? That's the question.
Yes.
Fine, because not everyone is out to commemorate.
Exactly.
Yes, other people just want to go about their businesses.
I think the one reason why people were fearful opening their shops from the previous historical events. When they come in, anytime people are on the street, their shops get vandalized, their things get stolen. I think that's one. There was fear from our business community. Number two, there was barricade, yes, for screening, but people managed to enter into town. And as he puts it, the 355 were arrested some of them were within town, meaning people managed to come in town after screening. And that's why we never had unnecessary scuttle here in town. I think, again, you talk about sustainability. There's a culture that we need to have, that people need to protest without any individual losing his life. People need to have street mass action without businesses being vandalized, businesses, individuals losing their stock, or their businesses getting shut down. But I think we are moving forward. For me, there's a step. Again, maybe into the future, we'll be able to have protests taking place while businesses moving as usual.
Okay.
And maybe to allow me to respond to my brother here on the issue where he was lecturing me. In 2017,
very briefly, we're just about to go on a break.
Yes, 2013, 2017, we were with them on the street. That is both CORD and NASA. And we remember in 2017 protest, when we were at Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka Center, we were commemorating and burying over 100 comrades of ours in the NASA coalition. Today, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo forgets all those comrades, but want to ride on the Gen Z protest that happened in 2024. These ones happened in his office, in his presence. We no longer talks about them, but these guys, I think, that compensation is going on as well. So we don't need to play Jack Jill or play chameleon with these matters. We must be real on these issues. Right. It's not on one side of coin. Mm-hmm. So it's not about me maybe saying that it is wrong when politicians ride on this. Fred, before we go for break, as you put it, we also need to remember, why did Gen Zs maybe fail to achieve what we ought to have achieved then in 2024? We had the same infiltration from the seasoned politician. When we see that these are the people who need to go, if the must go, a new generation comes in, then we must be very, very, very open. Mm-hmm. To this conversation. It is not one-sided. That is, this other side go, then this other side remains. So, as he puts it, what if yesterday, Dr. William Samoei Ruto joins in the commemoration, or CS Murkomen? These are some of the tough questions. Mm. So, would
you support the president joining the...
To me, I think it's something that you ought to have done then.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
This is a discussion we're having, Kamau. We unfortunately, we have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, including talking about the compensation and the controversy around it. You're watching TV47 Breakfast.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m.
Good morning. You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza hii simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimewekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Nikikunywa maji.
Oh my God. You left me. Nitumie ni line.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-Fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea. The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero umeka kwa beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
You won't entertain divas. No. I'm not dealing with a man child.
Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that our hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. We might fail, We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time, welcome to Connect In, the best experience in East and Central Africa and its environs.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on TV47. Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m.
This is a very serious place.
I see that. Surely. Hey, Nyumba.
This is the place.
Just for a few days.
Rule number 2.
Kwani Google inajua maisha yangu wewe?
That's my seat.
It's a chair. It was hers.
You're new here?
Yes.
You learned the rhythm.
This place is run by structure. Structure.
It is a system, ni venye tu ni system haisikizi.
And what happened?
All right, welcome back. This is TV47 Breakfast. We continue just looking at the events of yesterday during the second anniversary of the Gen Z protests of 2024 and just examining what we saw vis-a-vis what we may have expected earlier. And one of those things that we saw is that there was generally a low turnout, especially of the Gen Zs who are quite active in 2024. And we've always on this panel asked the question whether the Gen Z movement has died out. Is it, did the flame go off? Or yesterday, was it simply a tactical retreat?
You know, they say a good dancer knows when it's good to leave the stage. And to me, I want to applaud my young generation and the comrades on how they carried out themselves yesterday. They know what they were doing. We know what we were doing in 2024. We know the purpose with which we were driven to do what we did in 2024 and 2025 and now 2026. For us to grieve the way we were grieving on the yesterday and last year, it is because we feel and we feel for our comrades that and the families that are associated with the people who passed. So for them not coming out yesterday, we had the intel of people will be arrested. I personally even posted on my platforms that we were going to be arrested, and someone called me and told me, "Nigga, you need to watch out. Even your name has been given out." And a lot of people, and even the police and the goons, even Gachagua the other day say, you know, and when he speaks with the intelligence, and whatever he speaks, it is based on from somewhere that plans are underway to attack people. So when these things were came out, and we have seen previously on some instances, you know, we say we value life. We value our lives and we value the lives of others. So why not just, you know, commemorate wherever you are? If you're around Nairobi, go to Nairobi. If you're around Limuru, go to Limuru. If you're around whatever you can do, just take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, the police themselves also yesterday were, well, I would like to say, to some extent, they were not too much forceful, you know, and they did not use too much power to the level of killing. But still, they were so roughed up, you know, using live bullets, using, you know, what would you ask someone who's just walking? You just come and rough them up and put them in a Land Cruiser and drive them off.
But are we saying that the Gen Zs have just come to the realization that their lives are valuable now? We saw them face police head on.
Now, listen.
And 2025. So what changed?
What we are coming into terms with, my brother, is as we are heading closer and closer to the finishing line, we are coming closer and closer to terms. It is not only demonstrations, and we value human life. We are actually right now protecting more than ever our lives. So that we preserve that one vote to make this guy. We are going to demonstrate very well on the 10th of August.
So it is a change of tack.
It is a change of tactic.
Jared, do you agree that is a change of tack, or was it forced by circumstances, or should we just agree that the Gen Z flame appears to have died down?
Fred, it's not a change of tack. I think on the 2024, Gen Z's turn out in large numbers onto the street. Unfortunately, some of them came to the street without even understanding. Then it was finance bill. This year was commemorating the fallen young people who lost their life on the hands of the rogue police. Unfortunately, I was listening to one of the interviews from one of eloquent comrade, young lady, saying that she went to the street without even reading the finance bill. And that's happened to a number of young people. So then it was on euphoria. And then sustaining it was not going to be very easy. It was not built on any ideal, any principle, what was guiding it. It was, as I think at some point, there are those who are coming because they wanted to stream live maybe their TikToks and so on. So it was content as well in it. Again, we must also remember that the Gen Z, there are those who are today, they are engaged. There are those who are on jobs and employment. So someone may not leave the job where he is to come on the street to demonstrate. Again, must also agree that there are those today who have maybe make families. They're busy maybe trying to make their families as well. So we must also agree again that there are those who are now very political.
So they were busy at home making families.
Then there are those now who are very political. And politics, there are those who are now fall into the political parties that now they walk and get guided within this political party's principles. Because I remember after the Gen Zs, we really tried so hard to rally these young people to join these political parties. And I think even from them, the wiper front, they have a number of Gen Zs today in their political party. So you'll find those who are very political, there are those who kept off because the political parties who were not participating yesterday, I'll put it that way, into this commemoration.
For example, members of ODM.
From members, example, where I'm coming from, the party I'm coming from, ODM party. And maybe a number of vipers. Then again, there are those who are maybe now seeing it differently. Because if you, a good example, if you look the one in Kisumu, the Gen Z or young people in Kisumu turn out for voting station and ID and taking their IDs. So there are those who are doing now it differently. As he puts it again, I think the tracks are now changing. And it's not, as he puts that, we want to go and demonstrate at the ballot. But it's something we have said over and over again, that if you must make meaningful, impactful change, you can only make it in the ballot. We are a very democratic nation, unless we were planning to have coup or we are planning to have a revolution, which of course, as where we stand as a nation, we are not ready for that today.
Okay.
So it is not a tactic, but young people are now getting the reality that how can we get our voices heard within the systems of governance of our country? And it can only be heard, and our voices can only be counted, not only on the street, but at the ballot, as he puts it.
Fred, so are we saying, Kamau, even as you chime in, that going forward, the importance of the June 25th date is waning? That probably in a few years' time, we will no longer be talking about June 25th. It will no longer be an issue.
No, June 25th will forever be installed in the minds and the history of this nation. June 25th, I can assure you, if and that I hope we know, once we are able to send this government, this Kenya Kwanza administration away, once we are able to kick them out of government, we are going to gazette June 25th as a public holiday, to remember these young souls. They were as important, them and even others of 2023 who died of the cost of living, 2024, 2025, 2026, the ones for fuel. All these day will be a day of commemorating the young lives, the young people that have been lost through demonstration when they are picketing and demonstrating for, fighting for better Kenya. And I want to tell you that you need to bite as much as you bark. And we can see that this guy called the IG, Murkomen, and the whole Ministry of Interior, they have been, absconding court orders back and forth. stop barricades. There was a court order to stop those barricades. Those people, they overrode the court orders. You know, the court said that the police should be on their uniform and they should not cover their faces. So these are things that we are used to. And now when you see these people, they talk what they talk, but they drink something else. And now sasa unataka tukuje tujitoe and we face the same people, we face the same police who are going to kill you, and once they kill you, they are not going to be charged. So we need to take a different tactic altogether. But either way, there are so many ways to kill a cat. There are 9 ways, there are so many ways. And we are going to face head on with these people. And we are going to face these people. I wanted to say something, but
you're holding back.
I'm holding back.
It's okay.
But what I want to say is, we are going to face them.
All right.
Yes.
Jan,
whatever come may.
What future do you see for this date, June 25th, going forward? Do you see it as being significant, or will it fizzle out eventually? The same way we're seeing the numbers becoming low and low, the turnout getting lower and lower.
Fred, the June 25th will forever be there. We'll forever remember it. But immediately you start politicizing it, as he puts it, then it loses its meaning. Because now it brings in, we want to send someone home, we want to do what, then where does that leave the lives lost and maybe those who still believe in what we gained? And again, I think, as he puts it, we may not gazette it because we have had so many in our land, but these days have always remained in the minds of our people. So the numbers may dwindle down as they are. It is fizzling down, yes, that's the reality, that's the truth. Compared, if you look the one that we had in 2025, then 2026, and then 2027, you don't know how it will look like, and then 2028. Gazetting it may not be enough, yes, but we must find a way of commemorating these young people. The best way to do it, as he puts, is not about gazetting it. It's us having a government that is accountable to the people of Kenya. We need to have a government that is answerable to the needs of one nation. We need a government that the agencies worked down on June 25th, that can we have a government that can listen to its people. It's not about gazettement. We have had so many, and remember, I think before the 2010 constitution, we had so many holidays that some of them were consolidated and others were even deleted from our calendar. So why must we continue having these dates are necessary, as they put it? We may decide to put it differently. That date, what do we do? Can we be able to arrest the corrupt individuals running our governance? Can we be able to freeze even their accounts and bring that money back into the public? So these are the things we need to talk about, not gazettement. The things, for me, that was a populism position that they want to ride on unnecessarily for campaign. We're not going to allow them to use the Gen Z back as they want to do it, that they're going to campaign on that platform. They want to use it for 2027 to wipe emotions of the young people, that we not allow them to do. As we know, this party leader and the United Opposition, as they put it, I think nobody's new in that space. There's nothing new these people are going to offer for us. So they're not, the gazettement, as he puts it, how is that going to impact the lives of young people and our economy as a nation? We need to be realistic on how we are going to approach such important dates of our country. Not gazettement, as he puts. That's not enough.
Right. Yes, Emma.
You know, I am laughing because, and I will repeat, you need to bark as much as you bite. My brother here is yapping about politics, and we need not to politicize this thing. And one thing, it is not about politics, and I need to understand what he means, or he understands by the word of the meaning politics. Because we first of all went to the streets because of William Ruto and his parliament of passing a bill that was not favorable to Kenyans. And the young people and the Kenyans in majority disagreed with that bill. That was then. Now,
that was all politics.
That was politics.
That was it.
That was it. So it is politics. And we need to understand that whatever battle here we are doing, it is politics. And that is why even the young people are now understanding it was not just finance bill, it was politics. Number two, what tactic did the president use to calm down the protests? So what did he do? He looked with him. I might be a big in disagreement with William Ruto a lot of times, but I applaud him for one thing. He is a political mind player. He called the late Raila Amolo Odinga, and they had something. They had the 10-point agenda, sijui, pay these young people, you know, remember to such. Now, the moment, the moment Mr. Ruto, I wanted to call him as we know him.
No, please don't use those names.
Okay. The moment Mr. Ruto called Raila Amolo Odinga, he brought in this person, the ODM so-called, what do you call them? The professionals, the experts from ODM. Those ones were the biggest beneficiaries of the 24th demonstrations. They were the ones who really took on and politicized, and they saw to themselves that they are the ones who are coming to save the day. Some of these people are very much unqualified. What is Joho doing in office with a D grade and having nothing to show, you know, when he is running a full ministry of mining? These people, what have they come? And I want to challenge Jared from ODM, and because these are his godfathers, I want him to tell us, what are these people, what expertise have they brought on board to come and save this country from then?
Basically, you're
we are
saying
still having even more problems.
It is still a political issue.
Fred,
do you agree, Jared?
Fred, I've not finished.
No, I'll come back to you.
Respond. Fred, I think the ODMers who got into government are Kenyans. They're not in isolation, that because they're ODM members given a chance to serve their nation, they shouldn't take it up. I'm pretty sure if we need to go back to the history, in 2007, this party leader ran away from us and left us hanging. So it's not about the political parties where we fall into. Our country becomes bigger than the political formation that we belong into.
I think what he was challenging is the fact that you're saying that the events around June 25th being infiltrated by politics.
Exactly.
You are challenging that.
I'm challenging that. And I think from...
But what he says is that it has been political all along.
It's been political all along, my friend.
Fred.
That you cannot divorce politics from the events around June 25th.
In my head, I'm very clear on this. What I'm saying on June 25th, that within they're trying to front forward, is to wipe emotions of young people that we will do something around it, on gazetting it. And we're telling them, if you want to do that, in case they'll get a chance, they need to give us a concrete reasons behind it, not gazettement as they put it. When I'm talking about infiltration of the politician, getting back into the stage and riding on the back of, or riding in this date for politics, purely politics, as it shouldn't be, it was to commemorate these people, not to politicize it. There, I think, when yesterday, if you listen keenly, there are those who are on Ruto must go. Ruto one term. I think, to me, that was unnecessary yesterday. That is not connected to the commemoration of the lost young people that were captured then.
Fred, I want.
Then, Fred, I think the right of reply. He attacks maybe the CSS because of the political parties where they came from. Where we are sitting in here is from Wiper. If today he gets a chance to serve his county, he will serve his country without maybe considering the party is affiliated to. Come out.
Come out. And even as you reply, allow me to welcome onto the set other panelists. We do have Mora John. Karibu sana onto the set. Mora is an aspirant for the seat of Nairobi Woman Rep. Karibu sana. Good morning, and thank you for joining us in studio as we continue with this conversation. Yes, Kamal.
I was saying, thank you. Jared needs to understand, it is politics. Number two, it is working for the people. And I want to tell you, my brother, well and good, they joined the broad-based government. What have Oparanya done? Number two, what have Undai Opio done? Since he went into that ministry, fuel has just been skyrocketing. When that guy was in parliament, he was telling these people he has the formula. CPA Bandi, when he was in parliament, he says that this government had no idea on how to run
I don't get
a treasury.
Because we're talking about politics and whether this political solution that President William Ruto
that is what I'm saying is now the politics that were used by President William Ruto to bring in these people who are going to help him so that we don't go back on the streets again have not worked. And he pointed, and I wonder what he thinks about my party leader. I want to. He said something.
Let's not dwell on your party leader.
He is dwelling on him every now and then. He's mentioning him every now and then.
We need to focus on the
Kalonzo, ran away from 2007. Kalonzo didn't run away. He was on himself. He ran on president on himself, on his own ticket. He was position 3. Okay. So how did he? How come?
Allow me to move this conversation forward. Still looking at the issues that have arisen in the last 1 week, in as far as the Gen Z and the victims of the protest back in 2024. And I'll direct this question to Mora, because it has to do with the compensation plan that was rolled out by President William Ruto. Yesterday, the families that came out, according to this paper, families of Kenyans killed during the 2024 June anti-finance bill protest, they marked the second anniversary with renewed calls for justice, saying compensation cannot replace accountability for the deaths of their children. Many people have praised this administration for rolling out compensation. But do you think it's enough? Do you feel that something else needs to be done? Do you feel that justice will be served simply by compensating the families?
Did you just say that many people have praised this government for compensation?
Some, if not many. Yeah.
Any person praising this government for compensation is just equal to a murderer, because a compensation cannot replace lost lives. Mothers lost their children, brothers and sisters lost their siblings. So even if they were to be given 50 million, 50 million is not equal to a human being's life. So I don't actually believe in compensation. I believe in justice, because the June 25th, 2024 victims, the perpetrators have not been brought to book up to date. So we need more justice than we need compensation.
Where do you feel the gap is? Because there are different people who should be doing different things. Where do you think the weakest link is in as far as bringing to justice these people?
The government. I blame the government on all this.
The executive or the judiciary?
No, not the judiciary. Because I don't want to believe that these cases have been taken to court. Not all of them have been taken to court. I've not really seen arrests of the police who are guilty. You see, we had a minister for interior at that time, a very sensitive docket, and I know he was aware of the police that were sent to the streets to kill. The police were on videos were everywhere, but none of them has been brought to book. So the gap is between the executive and the judiciary. Yeah.
All right. Jared, what is your take on that? This issue of compensation vis-a-vis achieving or getting justice for the families who lost their loved ones?
Fred, I think in the history of our country, it is the first time that at least the families who are grieved, they are getting something. And it's not only pegged to June 24th.
No, but this one, we were speaking about June 24th.
June 24th,
so you
exactly.
must peg it on that.
It's not only, I'm talking about compensation, it's not only paid on June 24th. Kama, I think, will testify. We have been partners for the longest time, from 2013, 2017, 2022. 2013, we lost a number of our comrades then in COD. 2017, we lost a number of our comrades in NASA. And even during the Sufuria protest, that is 2023, we still lost a number of our comrades. All these people, nobody talks about their whereabouts, the pain, the grief, and even the families that were scattered, the children who were left orphans, the widows who are left behind. And I think for me, this compensation means a lot to those kids who are maybe dropped out of school, because in most cases, you find the dads who are the breadwinners, the widows who are maybe no longer able maybe to even pay the rent and be in charge of their families. So to me, this, in the history of the continent, to be very specific, is the first time that happens in our continent, that at least those who lost their life unnecessarily on their hands of the rogue police at least get reprieved. As she puts it, the amount of million of money being given may not bring back life years, but at least it's a show of remorse that we are sorry, we appreciate. The same way from our servicemen, in most cases maybe those who lost their lives in the line of duty, their families at some point do get reprieved and not compensated. Yes, we can't say we can't compensate a life, but at least a show of remorse. And again, I think in the history in the world, I may use DRC Congo. It's in the first time that you're seeing Belgium want to compensate maybe the atrocities that happened then. Today you're still battling that. Can our colonizers as well try to at least compensate on the atrocities that they met on Africans? If the government of the day, like today in Kenya, the government say that at least they can do that. But as she puts, I'm also agreeing with her that the rogue police officers who have been in forefront batting down innocent Kenyans, they need to be taken and we need justice to them. But that's not enough. The justice delayed is justice denied. We expect this to be fast-tracked.
What do you think
it
is
takes
the problem?
longer time.
It's 2 years later, even if we just go by the June 24 incidences, it's 2 years later. Only one case or two are still before the courts. Where do you think the problem is?
I think this now comes back to our justice system. In most cases, you find cases take very long time, and it's not only on maybe on this one on the police brutality. In most cases, they do take long. They are the ones that we are having from 2013. They haven't been resolved to date. So the problem comes in when she runs away saying that no, we don't have a problem with the justice system. They do delay a lot.
No, I didn't say we don't have a problem.
Allow me, Mora, because the question is, out of the 65 people who died in 2024, 27 who died in 2025, only about 3 cases are before the courts already, meaning that even that push to prosecute those who are seen as having been perpetrators of this does not equate even the number of cases that are there. You may say it's delayed justice, but 3 cases out of almost 100?
Actually, 2 cases.
Fred, I think this now comes back to IPOA and other agencies that are doing...
No.
Please.
Allow him. No. The way we do it here is that you allow him to say, then you can challenge him after.
I think this comes to first IPOA. I think the people who do before they take it to the DCI and the prosecutor, they do take long unnecessarily. Our justice system, as we put it, our justice system is very slow. And this is a matter of fact. They don't fast track our cases. And it's not only on this. I'm giving you, Fred, from 2013. I'm from ODM party. We are the party that have suffered most in the hands of on the hands of the police brutality. So we have this pain. We have welcomed this up to date. They are still crying for the justice.
So where is the gap? And that's the question.
The gap is in the justice system. That is trending so slow.
Okay, come on. Where do you think the problem is? That fine, because the cases are not just from 2024. We have had protests, people have been killed, but we rarely get to see these officers taken to court. Fine, will compensation come and just cover all this?
No, compensation actually, I don't think actually it should be just compensation. And as my sister says, justice. Justice, we cry for justice. And justice comes with the judiciary. And not only now the judiciary, the gaps comes in between. To me, I think, we forget how did we get to that day, 25th? How did we get to the protests on that day? So we go back, rewind. The president refused to listen to the people. The parliament refused to listen to their electorates. They passed a bill, the president signed it. And then after all that had happened, now that is when he was coming down. Now, as it was happening, he was the commander-in-chief. He is the commander-in-chief. So he is the commanding force for people to be killed. Now, I cannot send you, Fred, to go and do something, and then after you've done it, I reprimand you for doing it. However it is. So to me, the first person to give an order to kill these people is the president and the executive. Number 2, because if he is not the one, before these people are being taken now to the judiciary, they should be sacked. They should be stopped.
And
they should be suspended.
Whose job is that?
That is the president's duty, with the Inspector General of Police appointed by the president, my friend, that is the...
It is an independent
It is an independent
service.
service that is appointed, whose Inspector General is appointed and nominated by the President to go and to be interviewed by the Parliament, and that IG is the one who is passed by Parliament. So it is the Parliament,
and
it is Parliament's
I know the
duty.
temptation. I know the temptation is very high to always blame politicians, especially the head of state, in all these things. Yet sometimes we ignore people who should be held culpable. Will we just say President William Ruto is to blame for everything, yet there are people whose duty is to run the police service?
I am filling in the puzzle. Now, the President have not done his duty. Parliament has not done his duty. Now, the IG has not done his duty. Now, the judiciary. We have had over 100 people killed, but only 2 cases are in court. There is a mismatch. We have had cases. Then Gachagwa's case came just the other day. He was impeached. The case was taken to court. It was heard and it was determined. But still, we have a case of someone who was shot directly on the head, and we saw it, and it was on camera. But to date, the investigation are being done. What more investigations?
So who do you blame for that?
They blame the judiciary. It is so very much compromised that they are getting...
Are we getting confused about who is supposed to be blamed for such things, for failure by the police service, for example?
We blame the 3 arms.
Mora, who do you think should be, the individual that should be held accountable for this?
You know, according to me, I believe justice just doesn't start from the judiciary.
Exactly.
You know, before a matter gets to the courts, it has to go through the police processes. So the question should be, as you are putting it, who should be blamed? You see, there are bodies that are mandated to do the arrest and the investigations. According to me, I'll say that's where to blame. We cannot always blame everything on the president, in as much as I want him to go home like yesterday. But on this one, I'm not going to blame the president. It's not a failure on his part. We have the police who are mandated to do that work. The CCTV cameras were there. IPOA took on that matter. But I don't want to say that IPOA is the one that is failing us. What has the police done? It's the work of the police to arrest and prosecute.
Police to arrest their own officers and prosecute?
But they should be arrested. They're not immune to arrest. We saw the other day, this police officer was the OCS. Was it the OCS for Central? Who was arrested at Langata? But he was arrested by his fellow colleagues. His junior officers, actually. So what's making it so difficult for the IG to order for the arrest of those junior officers?
How come we rarely see people actually calling out the Inspector General of Police due to failures? That it's easy to criticize politicians, but there are people who are duty bound to take care of something.
It's also a failure on us, because we forget, we jump so fast. We leave that gap and put the entire blame on the president. And it's, don't get me wrong, I am not defending William Ruto. I cannot defend William Ruto. William Ruto must go. But you see, as Kenyans, we jump so fast to blaming the president, forgetting that there's a body mandated to do that
Don't you
job.
think that that misplaced anger, misplaced rage directed at top politicians is our failure as well? That we forget who should actually be held accountable, and we direct all the rage at the president.
Fred, I agree with you on that question, as you put it. We have systems that need to work for us. And as she puts it, she don't want to blame the IPOA, which need to investigate and take this to the police, as she puts it. I think if we leave alone our justice system, that for me has always been very slow, and I think other prosecuting bodies in the country and its investigating agencies that have always deliberately been also not moving fast as we expect them to do. They have been our greatest de-link from justice that we need. And again, I think it will be wrong if you're going to, as you put, you're going to blame entirely on one entity, that is the executive, while this country has been built and we have designated individuals who are in offices being paid by taxpayers' money, who are in office getting their cars fueled by our money, who are in office hired, I think, on merit, but are failing to perform. Until we make these systems work for us, I think at some point there will be no need asking the president tough questions if these systems are fixed and are able to work, unless the president of the day is sabotaging them or having his hand or influence in these offices or these entities that need to serve the country.
Yes. And that's a question. Are we imagining that the president is this individual who's covering for all crimes for everyone and excusing individuals for their own culpability? A police officer, when they're on the street, not all of them shoot randomly. Why are we reluctant to go after individuals who commit crime directly?
This, according to me, and this is my own opinion, and the reason I am solely sending this to the president and the executive is because the buck stops with him. We've seen, for example, in the previous administration, when Matiang'i wanted to curb out the education, the stealing of exams himself, he went down to the schools. When he wanted to understand what is really happening to kids and education, he went down to schools during the day, and he found that classes were supposed to be ongoing, but some classes are missing teachers. But on merit, TSC has employed some of these things. For you to understand some of these things as a leader, you need to be hands-on yourself. Okay, when Meshoke wanted to curb, whatever was the menace that was happening in the matatu industry, he went down to the stages and he did it himself on the ground. Now I'm telling the president this: if he wants to straighten up the menace we're having in the police department, he should be hands-on himself. This is what I'm saying.
Don't you see a risk there, Kamau, that failing to prosecute individual officers and taking it to the political class every time, and it could be anyone at the helm of the country, it's not just William Ruto, it could be any other president, that if we continue failing to prosecute individual officers, this will continue, and every Kenyan will just have a misplaced rage pointed at the politicians and forgetting the real culture.
And that is why I'm saying the president himself now, that is why he has to take it up to and exercise his duty as the commanding officer, as the commander-in-chief. Call the IG, call the Ministry of Interior, call the PS. They call,
Isn't this part of the problem?
Let me listen. Let me finish.
No. I feel that is part of the problem, that we ignore the real issue and just look at the politics of the day.
It is not about politics of the day. Whether the president comes from wherever, my brother, he appoints these people. These people will be able to listen to the president when he is serious. If he calls IG and tells him and mandates him, I need the names. We need these people need to, before long, they need to be suspended.
Let me take using your example about the former CS for education. If at all any teacher is found not to have been in class, is that the problem of the CS, or is it a problem of the individual who fails to come to class? Who should be punished?
It is the problem of the individual who fails to come to
Exactly. Class. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That is what I'm saying. Now, those people, those teachers are punished because the CS was hands-on. The president being hands-on right now, he mandates the IG. By the way, we need to be serious about this. And the IG mandates IPOA, we need to arrest these people. We need, we don't need stories. We have videos, we have evidence.
We have been
suspend these people, take them to court.
We have been insisting on the independence of the police service. And we said the problem was because they were getting money directly from the executive, and they were given their own accounting officer. Why should we still go back to the executive to complain?
Fred, I want to disagree with Kamau. It's not the duty of the president, whoever the president is, to go down to the roots, let me call it the grassroots, to go and find out where there's a problem. That's why we have the cabinets. That's why we have the MCAs, governors, the MPs. That's why even we are there as Kenyans ourselves. We cannot expect a president to come down to arrest police officers who are seen on live stream shooting those young ones in 2024. It's not a failure on the part of the president. We cannot entirely blame the president for that, for the failure of an individual. Because I want to believe if I'm the one who's seen on camera killing Kamau, what does that have to do with my mother? I should be the one to be arrested, not my mother, for failing maybe to bring me up well. It's about time every individual is held accountable for their own wrongs. In as much as we have that anger, like the country, the mood in the country right now is not really a good mood. Every small pain towards Kenyans, we shoot directly at the president. But we are leaving people, hapa katikati, we are leaving people that we should hold accountable, just the way you are putting it. Like on this part of the Gen Zs, in as much as the president may look like he should be blamed, he did not directly shoot these people. We should start by holding accountable all those people that were seen on live camera. We saw them, Kamau, you saw them. You know them, probably you were in those streets. Those people can be identified and they can be held accountable. You see, when we say, like on the case of, when my friend here is saying about IPOA and other investigative agencies being slow. But you see again, I've not seen us Kenyans even tabling petitions on behalf of those young souls that were lost. We were just on the streets yesterday commemorating them. But we should have even gone to the courts carrying petitions. We should have even gone to IPOA, the way you are saying, demanding to know how far they are with the investigations, to the DCI offices, demanding to know how far they are with the investigations. Going to the streets is just taking more lives. And I cannot advocate, I don't advocate.
And the question now is, are we as Kenyans building a culture where, fine, we have this rage or dissatisfaction with the head of state, then we excuse everyone else of their culpability, including the National Assembly? I'm saying this because of what we witnessed last week with the finance bill, that out of 349 members of parliament, 186, more than half the number, decided to stay away from the signing of the bill. Yet we are not talking about that. Yes, it is easier to blame the president for influencing them. Are these 186 members devoid of their own thinking capacity? Why are we excusing such characters?
Fred, a good question. I'm also the one that you have put on the parliament one. Very interesting. It shows how the leaders that in most cases we elect don't take their work serious as you expect them. Actually, it was a very important bill in their house, the finance bill. And then they boycotted, some of them giving us excuses why they missed the sitting that day. If you're very keen for some of us who follow the debates in the house, in most cases, I think even this week, the quorum was not even there in the house. We remember Carola Mondi telling the then chair who was sitting was Kaluma that the quorum was not there. It shows how our parliamentarians, our MPs are not taking the job they were given seriously. And allow me, maybe before I come to that question, there's a question that Kamau is bringing on. I think Kamau is living far much part off from us. They are I'll say, individuals who are trying to advocate for imperial president. And in most cases, those the president who have a superpower, that they're the people who decide on who and what and how things need to be done. This is a country being built on workable systems. And again, the people who have been always delegated into these offices, I think that people who are getting there, not only as individuals, but people being hired on merit in our country. You expect them to deliver on accountability. Again, you expect these people to, because in most cases, we've also been trying to push and move and have these agencies and even other government bodies to operate independently for them to deliver. If you're going to move back to maybe the independence constitution that we had then, where the president will decide on phone call to hire a CS in such scenarios, we can't allow ourselves to go back there. So my brother Kamau, we need to understand this. And something that you want to blame Dr. William Samoei Ruto, it is okay, as he says, the buck stops with him. But we also need to scale it down to individuals who are sitting in these offices. They need to tell us what are they doing. Some Some of them do sit in those offices, do nothing, retire, and even get their pensions. So these are the tough questions that our country need to understand and get into. As you put it, in most cases we do forget even the roles that the MPs play, the roles that the MCs play. In most cases, even the Senate. We do just see them in the committees, but in the flow of the Senate, most Kenyans don't follow it. Most Kenyans are not even aware that during the passing of the bill, the Finance Bill 2026-2027, half of the MPs were missing in theirs. Nobody's talking about it. But they are waiting to back the president say at some point maybe he paid or coerced the few individuals who are in the house. So we forget and leave the bigger picture. To me, at some point, we do concentrate on the minor necessary.
Yes. Come on, do you now see that we could be excusing a lot of laziness, a lot of acts of omission from people who earn through taxpayers' money, simply by laying all the blame on the executive? I'm not saying they are blameless, the executive, fine, but don't you see that we could be excusing a lot of laziness down here?
Well, I still stand with what I said, and I will still blame the president on some of these instances. But nevertheless, notwithstanding, I blame, I was actually very much dissatisfied with the proceedings of Parliament the other day. And now to me, I blame two people. I blame everyone, but the buck stops with the president and Wanjiku.
Even when it comes to Parliament?
No, when it comes to Parliament, the buck stops with Wanjiku. Our problem, we need to know, we have been electing dwarfs. You know, we've been electing people who are, you know, psychological dwarfs, playing with the psychology of Kenyans. When we are going to pass a bill in Parliament, an MP should know, and he should know that they were elected solely 90% on legislative duty. They should be able to legislate matters and pass bills and acts of constitution that are going to help the Kenyan people. Now, when we have a parliament where as my brother says, most of the times that parliament is never full. Actually not full, half quarter. We don't have people seated. Most of the bills pass in parliament with just a very few, a number of few MPs. Some of these members of parliament, if you ask them the number of bills that have been passed in that parliament that they are participating in, they are not aware. They don't know. Now, our problem now, this finance bill that was passed the other day, when we had more than half not in attendance, that is a very sad thing. Where else, this is one of the most important bills, one of the most important sittings in the life of a member of parliament in parliament. Now, when they abscond and then they start saying, "Oh, sijui, I was not there," some of them are always lecturing us and telling us how economy should run. This one, we are not cutting across anyone. Whoever is not present to vote for that bill people should know what to do with these members of parliament. And up to some extent, I go deeper and say that the constitution should scrap off some development funds that are given to members of parliament. Let them enjoy nothing like senators. Let them legislate. Right. Because some of these things they enjoy, they go back to people, and then they start, wanapakapaka watu mafuta. But in real sense, these people are supposed to make laws. They're supposed to delegate. Some of the problems we are going even through today, some of these people who have not yet been compensated, it's because of that parliament. Mm-hmm. It's unable to sit and call out some of these people, right, as much as I'm blaming the president. So parliament, these parliamentarians, they were out of order.
Something else we witnessed in the parliament during debate for the finance bill. Yeah. I'm sure you saw at least two members come on the floor, start debate, then they're corrected. That the clause you're talking about does not exist in the document. One of them was actually forced to withdraw an argument he had put forth. And these are the people we're excusing. You're an aspirant.
There's a standing order they're always using. There's that standing order they're always using. I want one of these findings to go through that standing order and understand what it says about standing
But
order.
is it really excusable, that level of ignorance?
Of ignorance. You see, I want to maybe give a different opinion about my observation about parliamentarians. I want to say parliament is a marketplace, according to me. That's a marketplace. They only go there when they have been paid to go there. Because tell me why 186 members of parliament were missing when a very crucial bill was being passed. And then they'll come back to us and say, no, you know, I missed because maybe I was out of the country or I was busy. You can never be busy when matters touching the electorates that have put you in that place are taking place in parliament. If you look at an example of Rigath's impeachment, the house was full to the brim, both houses, the Senate and the Assembly. They were very much ready to even vote up to late in the night just to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, an individual. But when it comes to the lives of many, 90% of parliamentarians are not in the Assembly, simply because there was no pay. I want to believe they were paid to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. I don't want to dwell so much in Gachagua's case, but you see, they proved to us what they are made of. And like Kamau said here, we the voters are to blame. We are the ones who vote mediocre. Like after 186 parliamentarians missed to appear for the finance bill, we were very comfortable.
No one is talking about it.
No one is talking about it. Like we got over it. We blamed the president. We abused William Ruto online. Like we did everything. We called him names. We forgot about these 186 people who could have made a difference. Maybe they could have voted yes and passed the bill or even no. Whatever they could have voted, they missed to do their duty. And we just let it pass like that. And you are going to tell me, Fred, maybe you should call me back here in October and we review the 186. Most of them are going to make it back to parliament to go and do nothing.
So it is the electorate.
It's us to blame. We are very stupid. Yeah, we are voting mediocre.
Okay.
In fact, you see, we give the president idiots, and then we again go and start blaming the president for giving him idiots.
Right. We have about 3 minutes, so I'll give 60 seconds for your final words only.
Okay, I think maybe to add my voice in the same. Our MPs forget their 3 roles. And I think as a party at some point, our founding party leader, the late Raila Odinga, HCH, may his soul rest in peace, proposed a very radical change that ought to have happened in the parliament. We need to scrap off the CDF and consolidate it under other finances or devolve it to the counties. MPs are forgetting their role that they need to legislate. They need to oversight and they need to represent. They no longer represent the electorates in the parliament. These MPs no longer legislate in the parliament. We doubt if they oversee the government of the day, that is the executive. And that's why my sister is saying that maybe they are getting coerced, which of course we don't need to proudly talk about it. That's like the core corruption that we are having as a nation. If our representatives in the assemblies are getting coerced, that's why Kamau, Oye, and Mora works out in the city, because their representative is not there in the house to represent their voices and their thoughts. So the MPs that we are having and our parliament as a whole, we need to find ways, as Baba was proposing, for us to crop off the CDF, for them to come back and concentrate in the house. In most cases, like the one you are talking about, when a senior ranking member of parliament could stand and say things which were not even in the bill, shows that not only voting in these bills in the house, they even don't debate or read them. Upon that he was saying that it's not, the bill is too big, that he haven't gone through it. Yes, as the representative of the people of his constituency, it was so hurting, it was so shaming to our assembly, and shows where we stand. I think as I finish,
very briefly, yes.
Very briefly. Fred, ODM Youth League is serving our Youth League convention in Busia, and it's a chance for the young people in Busia and the Mulembe Nation to come out, we re-energize our structures of the party as we move forward in 2027 as a party. We're in Kwale, and we appreciate the young people who turned up to our Youth League convention. Thank you.
Sarah Jared. Come on, you go next. 60 seconds.
Well, I want to appeal to the Kenyan people. The problems we are having today, total lockdown, Gen Z protests, a bad parliament, everything trickles down to Njiko. Everything trickles down to people voting out people who don't value people that vote for them. We are here because, and talking of the problems we have today, because of Wanjiku not doing their due diligence before they elect leaders. We need to change that. As we get into the campaign period, the elective year, let us really change. Let us really listen. Let us do our due diligence. Let us think what we want as a country. The problems we are facing today, unemployment, health, everything, the buck stops with you. Wanjiku, please vote in a good leader. Please vote, like myself, I'm vying for Member of Parliament Limuru. The last time I was not elected because I didn't have money. I was position 3 because I couldn't be able to line up people and give them 100, 200 shillings each at 23. And I still go back to the same people and ask them to vote me in. My constituency continues to be one of the most underdeveloped constituencies in Kiambu, in Limuru, just because we have elected 2 individuals, Peter John for 20 years. I have a picture of one of them giving me a present when I was in class 7, and still they have done nothing. So our people really need to change, and we need to change for good.
Thank you.
Otherwise, one time.
Finally, Mora.
Oh, thank you, Fred. My parting shot as we end this show, I want to appeal to Kenyans. I want to remind Kenyans that we can do better. We can do better than we've been doing. Let's not start shouting another one term come 2028. we have one bullet, like Baba Raila Molo used to say. This is our last bullet. In fact, after these 2027 elections, these are not going to be the same again. It's like God is giving us another chance to repent. So can we just repent as Kenyans? We can do better. You see, we don't have to vote over the same politicians over and over again, expecting different results. We change someone from UDA to Wiper to DCP and expect different results. Can we give Fred Okengo Matiang'i a chance, Kenyans? That man has proven that he can perform. Okay. Can we give him a chance? In as much as he's not a politician, we all know he's a performer. And Fred, wait, you see, when I look at all these politicians, I find that man that he has done remarkable work. Even Kamau agreed that...
invite himself.
Even Kamau, no, I have first of all to remind Kenyans that we have someone who has worked. Even Kamau said that he used to go down to schools and find out what the problem is. Yes. That's someone who's been proven. He might not be a politician, but Fred has proved himself. You see, and myself, I'm vying for the Nairobi Women Rep seat. I'm giving myself to the Nairobians. I don't know what they are looking for if they cannot even vote me in. They don't have to rewind politicians just because they've been there in politics. But Nairobians, you can also do better, just like Kenyans can do better.
Asante sana Mora John, who's an aspirant for the Nairobi Woman Representative seat. Jared Oye, the youth chair, or from the ODM Youth League, and Kamau Mbiu, and a NEC member, Wiper Patriotic Front, also an aspirant for Limuru parliamentary seat. These are our panelists this morning as we take a look at the Gen Z protests, voices that won't fade, being the youth perspective this Friday. After the break, we talk matters circular economy. Peter Ndishu, who's a manufacturing director at Hako Industries, will be in studio for that conversation. Don't go away. DJ Blue will be here for Feel Good Friday. Good morning.